Coach, today we are going to be building something very cool. And the last day we talked about not actually losing all of the people inside your DMs and like the applications and call booked and being a lot more organized with your lead system, plugging all of those holes. Well, today we're actually putting that into application. So, but in this video, you're going to have an automated lead tracker. And it's going to be automating the applications, the call booked, call cancelled, lead magnets coming in, and it's also going to do all the data tracking for you. There's going to be some resources for this video, which is going to massively speed up the process. But this is going to be a build along video where I'll literally say, right, here's automation. Now let's build it. And one by one, we'll go through every single step of it. So yeah, let's get into it. So today we're trying to fill a few gaps, and that is lead population, trying to get all of our leads to automatically populate inside here. Now, we could go very into detail about what leads are coming from where, and we could get it from like Facebook ads and all these other places, but we're going to pick the kind of core, I suppose, four ways that they would be populated. The first one is from coaching applications, if somebody fills in like a type form or something like that. The second one then is going to be if somebody books in for a call, if someone cancels a call, and then also lead magnets. If you have any like lead magnets running from ManyChat, or if you have it on a landing page or something like that, any lead magnets that come in, we can get that to populate into the lead tracker as well. After that, then as well, we want to make sure that these leads coming in, we have them identity matching. So if you haven't seen the video that I did the last day, we went into detail on all this kind of stuff. It'll be really, really useful. You can check it out here and now if you haven't already. But identity matching, we don't want loads of duplicate leads. We want one person to go in there and then starts building his lead profile of everything that we know about him and moving him along there, which brings us to the stage matching. We want to make sure that we have stage matching for the prospect. If they apply for coaching and then they book a call, we wanted to move them into call booked. So we wanted to kind of update the pipeline for us. And then also we want reminders. So we want to be able to see what is our next action today. Do we need to follow up with anybody? If certain things happen, how can we set reminders to make sure that this person gets contacted, or our VA or whoever is going to manage actual outbound and inbound conversations? Yeah, they'll be able to see what exactly is going on. So with this, we're going to be building out a little lead tracker inside Airtable. I generally recommend Airtable for most people just because of the flexibility it's going to allow for us with a few little bits of automation. But to speed up the process, I'm literally giving you this Airtable base that's already set up like that. So to get access to this, where it's like a one-click transfer, all you have to do is below the video, there's a little description to the automation vault. Inside there, there's loads of plug and play resources, all the resources that we use for YouTube videos. They are held inside there. Once you go in there, it's completely free as well. Once you go in there, you can just click on it, transfer it over to your Airtable account. You only need the free account of Airtable for this. Yeah, it's like one click, transfer it over to get started. So we are going to be going into a few automations today. So the type form, we have Calendly, we have another Calendly for call cancel, and then any lead magnet opt-ins. And then we're also going to go into some of the reminders. So let's start building it. So first job for you, go get this, transfer it over to your account, or if you're going to build it out later, we'll crack on with the video. Now, first thing, we need to create an automation so that when somebody completes a coaching application, either through Typeform, Jotform, anything like that, we get their details. We then either add them into the lead tracker if they're not already there, or we update their profile if they're already in there from like a lead magnet or something. From there, then we will qualify the lead because we're asking them qualifying questions. So we can put in a little bit of logic inside there, or we could do a simple, if they say yes or no to a certain question, it shows qualified, unqualified, and it flags on their profile. So let's go set that up. To do this, we are going into Zapier. Inside Zapier, we are going to create a new Zap and then we'll name it. So say, type form. Now, the way that it's going to work is we need a trigger for all automation. So they need some way to be set off. And we are going to use type form for this one. It could be anything. It could be tally. It could be tally forms. It could be Airtable forms. It could be Google forms. It's completely up to you. We're going to use type form for this one. And we're going to say new entry in type form. From here, then we're going to choose the forms. I just created a really quick one, like literally like 30 seconds quick, just so that we could have one to be able to run through here. And on that form, I basically just got the person's name, their email address, what their main goals are, why they want to work with you. And then I just put in one qualifying question to be like, hey, can you invest somewhere between 3 to 5 grand if it helps you achieve your goals or whatever it is? So you could put in a price range for whatever it is that you're selling. But mainly we have all of these as separate outputs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to identify that lead inside Airtable. So we're going to do an Airtable step. We're then going to say find a record. It's going to ask us to connect our Airtable. And then once we connect our Airtable, we're then going to choose which base this is connecting to now. It's called. There we go, the sticky lead system. What table? We'll click on the lead management board and that's saying, right, well, how are we searching for them? So what we'll do is we'll start off with an email search because we got their email from there. So if they are already on there, we'll be able to find them via email. And it's asking, right, well, what is their email address to search for? So we're going to get this from a type form. So /, and then what we're looking for is the field where they answered about their email. There we go. And then search type exact match. In basically, you don't need to touch any of that. Click continue. And then test step. Now, I don't have anybody in there at the moment that matches that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a new sample lead. So I'm going to click the plus icon down here. I'm going to open it up and then I'm going to add in first name, Aaron, last name. Now I'm just going to match the details that I put on that sample type form. If you haven't completed a sample type form response or Google form, whatever it is, complete one first. Just do answer your own details because then when it comes to the searching and matching, it's going to make it so much easier. So we should have somebody in here now and we should be able to find them. So let's retest this now. And we're searching for this person via the email address. It's saying now that, hey, I found somebody. You can see here the record ID numbers. This is the unique identifier for this person, ends in ZYE. So if I click back on that person there, we'll see that we have this ending in ZYE up here. So you see that's the record number ending in ZYE. Cool, we found that person. Now, what if we can't find that person? Then we will put in an error handler. So click the 3 dots here and add an error handler. So this basically means if we found the person from the search, we would go on to here. If we didn't find them, what should we do next? So if we can't find them via email address, we should find them via their name. So let's duplicate this step here and then just drag it over here. So we'll change this to make it really clear. So search via email. And then this one here is going to be search via name. So we just need to change 2 details on this. So one, which is the search field. What are we searching for? So we're using the full name field. And then what is the full name? So we got them to enter in their first name and last name. I always recommend that when it comes to automation because it's a little bit easier rather than having to parse that and break it up. But we can input the first name. So let's say first, click on that. Then we'll add a space and then we'll type in last name. Okay, there we go. So we have the full name is now there. Click continue. And now we're going to retest this step. So this is now searching for the person matching that. It's the same person that we found. So it's going to be the same ID number. But what that did was it went in and searched for Aaron O'Malley and we have one inside there. Cool. So we have found them there. Now, what happens after we found the person? Or what happens if it searches and then it can't find them via email, can't find them via the name? Technically, you could do another error handler if you had like phone number and all these other things and keep going down. But what we're going to do is if we can't find them via their name or their email, we're just going to create the person because that's probably the next thing that needs to be done. They're probably not in your lead tracker. You could do Instagram handle as well and search that way if you ask for it in your form, but we're just going to leave it at that. Now, what to do if it's not found? We have this little checkbox inside the search your name one, which is create Airtable record if it doesn't exist yet. So we're going to tick that and then wait a second and then you'll ask you what you want to do. Now the full name, this is a formula field. So this is the first name plus the last name with a space in between. So you can see here that this is the way it would show up. So we're going to enter these 3 details, and that's all. So we're going to add in their first name from the type form. So that is going to be there. We're going to add in the last name. We're going to add in the email address. Right. And then from there, you don't need to actually do anything else because we'll do the actual updating of the steps after. So that is cool. So we'll say continue. And then we are going to retest. Right. There we go. That's fine. Now, what happens after we have that person inside there? Well, we want to update them and we want to qualify them. So we are going to add in a new step here at success. Click add new step. We're going to say Airtable. And we are then going to update the record. So action is update record. Choose the base. Choose the table. And it's asking us what record. Now it's giving us a drop down of all the records that are inside there, but this needs to be dynamic. So what we can do is we can click the 3 dots on the right hand side, click custom, and then from there we can pull in any of the information from either the type form or the step above it. So from here, we search in the step above it and got the record. So that is the record ID. And from here then it's saying, right, well, on that person that we just found, what would you like to update about them? So we only need to update 2 things. One is going to be the stage, or 3 things actually. One is going to be the stage. So in here, we're going to put in as application completed because in our lead tracker in the pipeline, the stage that we have for that is called application completed. Completed. So we could just copy the way that that's written, put that in there exactly like that. Okay. Then down the bottom, we might want to input their actual application details. So like, what did they say in their type form? So you can go / type form, and then you can click form responses on things like Google Forms and Google Forms, Go High Level, and a few other form softwares. You won't have the entire form as just one output field. You'll have to do the individual ones. But if that is the case, you just click on it, then click on it, then click on it, and they will stack them. And then the lead qualification. So we asked them a question about like, are you prepared to invest? And they either said yes or no. So then we'll do continue. Now, if you want to have like a question instead of it just saying yes, it would be like, yes, if I can see the value, or no, not right now, I'm just looking around, or something like that. You can then change the value inside this here. So you'll see here we have lead qualification, not qualified, qualified, and stuff like that. We can then change the inputs here. So we could say lead qualification. We could change this to yes. We could change it to no to do that. We'll hit the drop down, click edit, and then we'll put yes and no. So yes, they can invest. No, they can't. You could also change it to match whatever the question is that you actually put on there. You could add another option then as well. Click save. All right. And then from there, that's it. You don't need to update anything else for that person. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click continue, and then we're going to click test step. So what this should do now is it should get that person and update their details. So if I go back to Aaron, who should be somewhere inside the application completed now. There we go. Aaron O'Malley is in application completed and it says he is qualified. If I click on it, I can see the lead details. So this is what he said in his application form. Cool. Now, what do we do about the other steps? So we're just going to duplicate this, and then we're just going to drag it over to here and delete that one underneath it. We don't need that. And then here, all we have to change on this is just the record ID. You'll see it's showing up here in yellow. It's saying it's not matched to anything. So we're just going to click on that, say replace that with this one, because we don't want it to be matched to this one where we found them via email. It didn't work on this route. It only matched the person via name. So it's this result here. So we'll click on that there. We'll click on ID. And then from there, that's it. Good to go. That's finished. So you say continue, and then you can skip the test on this one. You don't need to do anything. And from there, publish. That is the first automation completely set up, ready to go. So from now on, any applications that come through here, it will either find them via email, find them via full name, or else you'll create them as a new person. Then from there, you'll update their details. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick test of this. Just go copy this link here, paste this link here. Also, try to give it like a few minutes before you do a test. So we'll add this in here. The name isn't exactly matching, and we'll do so we'll push the name. What we're looking for here is the name matches, but the email doesn't match with the profile that's on there. So what we would be hoping for is it wouldn't find them via email, but then you would find them via name. Let me just go delete their application details now, so that we have a blank slot of it. And right, and I'll just move them out of this just as like into the next pipeline here. I'll drag them over. Right. So what we're going to do is we'll say that we'll put in test. And we'll say that we're not. Submit that. Okay. So what we're looking for now is we currently have this guy here. And all right, there we go. That was quicker than I thought it was going to be. But if we go have a look at him now, he is put into the applications. And you see here, he is not qualified. So first automation completely set up and good to go. Now, that was probably the longest automation that you're going to have to set up for this, because we can kind of duplicate the steps with like the searching and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this, we're going to hit the drop down, and we're going to click duplicate. From here now, we are going to build the next automation. So the next automation, we just did this, is going to be to get them to populate when they book a call to again either add or update their profile as call booked. So let's do that. So we will go here and we will go to that. We're going to change this to Calendly. Actually, let me rename it first just so it's super clear. Call booked. All right, we're going to change this to Calendly. All right, so when an invitee is created, it's going to ask us then, does it matter which event or anything like that? You can choose a specific event that you want, where it's like it has to be a specific call type, or you could have it as any of them. For you, it's probably going to be, it has to be a specific one. And then we'll say continue, and then it's going to do a little test result. So this test is then going to just show you like a recent call that was booked. I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second, and I'll just input some sample data so we can get this rolling. All right, awesome. So on your side, what you could do is basically just book a call for yourself using some sort of an email address that you own. From there, then you'll do the test record and you can click on it. You can see. So this was a recent call that was booked. I just put in my details there instead of the client's name. So you could see we have the invitee's email address and we have their first name, last name, full name. What we want to do now is just fill in the blanks and then change some of the details, and that's pretty much set up. So what we're going to do, same thing, we're searching for them via email. So we'll continue to the next step. From there, continue. And then see this part here. We're just going to click on that. We're going to swap that for the email. So search for them for this email. Then you're going to say continue, retest it. So it's saying right now nothing matches that email. Let's go see what's going on. So right now we don't currently have a client in there. So I'll just update this person inside here to match. We'll do this person here. So I'm just going to give this person this email just for testing the actual Zap. Right. And then we will retest it. So that should find them now. Hooray, I found them. Okay, now we'll go on to the next step, which is to search for them via the full name. So we'll delete this. And we'll do first space last. Continue. And we'll retest, and that should be searching again. It should be able to find them. It did. Perfect. And then just down below here, we just have to fill in these details again. So first, last. Now there is a way to do it in bulk, but you're better off to learn about like why you would change in all the different places, and then continue. Now we need to update this step. So last time, these two steps, when they were updating the record, they were finding them, they were putting them to application completed, and then they were putting the application on their profile. For you now, we're actually going to change it so that it puts them in call booked, and then from there it puts the details of the call on that profile then as well. And then that's yeah, that's going to be super simple to do. So let's set this up. We'll click on it. We have the record, all good. We know who we're updating. It's just what are we actually updating now? So the stage, call booked. Okay. And then if you scroll down, we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. But what we would like is probably the call date. That would be useful. So we'll do /, and then we are looking for the event start time with Calendly. So we go here to, yeah, it's probably just easier to search. Event start time, there we go. And then from there, if you ask them any questions for them to book in a call, in pre-call notes would be a handy place. So if you have any questions like that, you ask them like question responses, you could put it there underneath. So that is all good. And that's pretty much it. I don't really see any other information that would be useful to update on the person's profile. Just really that they booked the call. So from there, then we click continue, and then we are going to click retest. So if we go back to the lead tracker now, this fella should be in call booked. He is. It just changed to call booked. So if I look here on the upcoming calls, we will see Aaron here is booked in for a call on the 9th of February. Awesome. There we go. Now let's go to the next part. So we'll just delete this, grab this, duplicate it, drag it across. And then from here, all that we have to swap on this again is just a record to this one. Awesome. Continue. All right. And then from there, we can either test it or skip it. We're going to skip it. And then we are going to publish that. Now, we have one more to create, which is just if somebody cancels the call, we need it to reflect back on the lead tracker as well. So again, we'll grab this here. We're going to click duplicate. And then once it duplicates, we are going to rename it. Instead of call booked, we'll call it call canceled. All right, awesome. Calendly, invitee created. We're just going to change that to invitee cancelled. Continue, continue. It's going to do a little test step. So again, I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'll input my details. For you, just cancel that call that you just booked for yourself. Cancel it from like the prospect side. And then from there, you will have your test record. Uh, 2 seconds now. All right, awesome. I have some sample leads that I created there. So this is just what we want. We can see here, so this was one of my clients. He just canceled a call. From there, then we will continue on to the next step. So continue with selected record. From here, we're going to search your email address. So it's going to ask us again, where's the email coming from? With Calendly, it should already have everything populated, hopefully. And then from here, the search via name, they're the same fields, so it should be able to populate automatically. All good. So it's just the updates that we need to change. So all we want to do on this is we want to get rid of everything except for the stage. I just want to change this to call cancelled. All right, awesome. And then continue. From here, we'll retest the step. We should see him disappear. Awesome. He is gone. He is now sitting in the bucket for call cancelled. Well, he should be. Call cancelled. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. And now all we have to do is just update this part then as well, just to say call cancelled. And then it's all good to go. So we'll go here, change this to call cancelled. Awesome. Delete that. Continue. And then from there, we can publish that one. So that is the 3 automations complete. We have the application, we have the call booking, and we have the call cancel. Now, what you might want to do is if you run a coaching application through Typeform, and it's on the Typeform, it actually books the call on there. You can then just go put a delay on it for these ones, where you can put a little wait period in between here, so that if they complete the application, that automation isn't firing at the same time as this one, because then they could be ending up in call booked and then knocked back to coaching application. So just put a 2-minute delay to do that. Click the plus icon. You just go type in delay, click delay, and then from there you can choose delay for, continue, and then from there 2 minutes, continue, and skip test. There you go. We now have a delay on it. They're not going to run at the same time and cause issues. So that is all set. That's all good to go. Now, the only other thing is you might want to start having more information on this person and seeing like what have they actually opted in for. So if you are running lead magnets from a landing page, or you're using ManyChat and you're asking for their email address and stuff like that, we can get their details to be added into the lead tracker. And then from there, we can update their profile. So we're going to do things slightly differently on this one. We'll pretend that, like for this instance, instead of using a landing page, we'll pretend that it was actually Typeform that we got the person's lead opt-in through. So we'll duplicate it. I wouldn't recommend using Typeform as well. It will cost you a fortune with the volume if you're using it as a lead magnet. But any form software, you could use Airtable forms, or you could use an opt-in through a website. But we will say lead magnet to lead tracker. So pretend that this was a lead opt-in form that they completed. You have an email sequence sent to off the back of that, and it gives them the lead magnet. But we want this added into their profile. So we will follow the usual steps of it searches for them inside here. But then when it finds them and updates the record, we're going to do one thing slightly differently. So inside your lead tracker, I have put in a field inside the profile here, which is resources given. And this is a multi-select. So we could track like who has what resources, who's been given what, and everything like that. We want to be able to track that. So then we could go, this would be a prime example of it here. If I wanted to be like, right, I want to see a view of sales made. All right. And then from here, I want this to only be where the stage is closed. And then all the information that I want to see on this is what lead magnets led to the most sales. So I will do this. You're like, okay, recipe book. That is actually doing pretty well when it comes to sales. Simple as. But if you didn't have that data, you wouldn't actually know. So let's go check this out. In here, we are going to, sorry, it's this one here. We need to get the details of the resources added onto the person's profile. So to do that, if a person has resources on their profile already, let's find that lead again. call cancelled. So if this person already had some resources on their profile, we'll give them like the sleep guide. But then we'll pretend that they just downloaded a training plan. We want the training plan added onto here automatically. So then we know that this person got this and this and this and this. So to do that, we will just do the search part on this person again. And in the test, we need somebody to have a resource. So we'll click continue and we'll do a test step. Oh, we don't have that email address. 2 seconds. Let me just add that email address to this guy's profile for this test. Test it. So what we're looking at here is when it found this person, it's saying, hey, here's all the details that we have on this person here. So if we scroll down, we know that he's in call cancelled at the moment and the resources given was a sleep guide. So what we can do is we can say, okay, update his profile, add the sleep guide, but also add this. So to do that, on the update part, where his resources is, so you see here, resources given, /, then we will do this. Then from here, resources given, and then we're going to do comma, and then space, and then we are going to type in training plan. Oh, actually, do we need the space? We'll find out. We might not need the space. And when I click retest, we should then see training plan populate here. There we go. And then if I wanted like another one, I don't know, like a nutrition guide or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You just type it in, and then whatever one is typed in, it will then go create it here. And that's it. That's fully set up. So you can now have the lead magnets anytime that somebody completes one of them, will go through the same finding process, but then you'll also update their profile with the lead magnet. Now, what use would it be getting all the lead magnets inside there? Well, we might want to use some internal automations inside Airtable where you could potentially reach out to that person again. So we have a next contact date field on all these lead profiles. That's essentially to say, hey, go fucking follow up with this person. They need to be contacted for some reason. And that can create a little follow-up list for us here. So what we can do is we can create an automation. We'll go in here. We'll say when a record matches the conditions. So we will do when a record is updated. We're going to say here, and then it's going to say, all right, do you want to watch a specific view? No, you can just say all leads. And then from there, select the fields that you want to watch. So what we want to watch is this. So anytime that there's a change to this field, it will then trigger this automation. So from here, we can tick that off. And then from here, we can search our sample lead. Okay, and then it says, right, well, what would you like to be done? But what we can do is we could set the next contact date as today. We could set the next contact date as tomorrow. You could set the next contact date as 2 weeks or whatever it is. I think today, so that we're fairly on the ball. If someone downloads a resource of like high intent, I kind of think we should probably put it on the list to get contacted. So let's update the record. It's going to ask us where. It's going to ask us who are we updating. So we'll do the plus and then Airtable record from our tests. From here then, choose the field that we want to update. And what we want to do is update the next contact date. It's going to ask us, but when do you want to update it? Now, this is getting us to type in a date, but we want this to be dynamic. So let's click the gear icon over here. Click dynamic. And then from here, click the plus icon. Then click that. And then actual runtime. What that's going to do is that's going to update it with the date of whatever it is when this is triggered. So from there, then you can say like run as configured or preview or anything like that. That is all set to go. We're just going to turn this on and name your automation as well so that you know what exactly it is. Then if we go to, let's say, we'll go back to that guy again because I think he's a good example of it. You could possibly, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. There's more steps that we could do, but I think it would be best just to keep it simple. So we'll search for him, open him up. From here now, what I want to see is this next contact date field. I want to see that populate as today. So once I do that, so that should be triggering an automation now, which will then go populate the next contact date as today. Okay, 17th of February. There we go. Now, why is this really important? If we, let's say, we update all these fields here, we will then, in the follow-up list, this is a list that's created to show us, right, well, only show us people who are not closed, not in the no-show, and stuff like that. And their date is before tomorrow. So we can edit like what people show up inside here. So we might want to say only show us if they're lead magnet or application, or these. All of these people need to be contacted. So then you or your VA could go through and contact these people. So, for example, all of these people have downloaded your lead magnet that you put out. You should probably go contact them. After contacting them, maybe just update when you're going to go contact them again. So, we might say to follow up with this person again next week. When that date comes around, he will populate back here again. The same for this fella. You're like, yeah, we'll contact you here. And then everybody else whenever they're going to be contacted. And then they're broken up into the groups. So you can see all these people are lead magnets. All these people are coaching applications but haven't booked a call. These people didn't close on the call. This person never showed up for the call. This person canceled the call. When are we contacting that person again? Do what you need to do. Update the contact list. And then from there, you're good to go. Now, one last thing that I'm going to show you, and again, it's going to be something that you're getting, is a lot of the time we need to see the data. What's our show rate? What's our close rate? All this kind of stuff. And it's a pain to calculate that stuff. So it does it automatically for you. So on their profiles, they have some formula fields inside here, which is to do with the close rate and show rate. It will always say 1, but we want to be able to see like, right, well, if they show, did they not show? And it will calculate that automatically based on their stage. So if you put them as closed or not closed or whatever it is during your process where you're like, hey, call booked, he didn't close, no problem. He closed, cool. That will then calculate the show rates and close rates for you. But then when it comes to calculating like the actual revenue generated and stuff on any of the calls that we have, so the closed calls, we can then say, oh, I collected 450 up front and I contracted him for 1800 in total. So then I collected 25% of the total. If you wanted to set up your Fathom, you could get your Fathom AI summaries of the call to populate here as well. And then from there, all of this data gets populated into a dashboard for us. So you're able to see how many coaching applications we currently have, how many calls booked from month to month, what's going on and booked, show rate, closes, close rate, cash collected, contracted, cash versus contracted, and it's filtered month by month for you. So you can then start using this data to make better business decisions. So again, if you haven't got this template, description below, you'll be able to grab everything completely free. And if you have any questions, as always, just pop it over to me. So yeah, go build it, go set it up, start using it, start collecting more cash.